Friends, just to tell you that in my talk yesterday, unfortunately, the first 20 minutes of my talk could not be recorded. So, on a popular demand, I am re-recording that first, what I covered in the first 20 minutes. So, so here I will be actually covering mainly that first thing I will be covering is the problems which normally these blind people normally face, and the second thing what actually the solutions which the three solutions which actually I worked on. Giving a quick background is that okay, that's the blind. When you normally say that people with visual disabilities, this is not a minority, this is not an insignificant number. In 2015 data, this was 250 to 28 crores. And if you see that typically at today's number, might be somewhere around 30 to 35 crores. But what we normally call blind is normally in the term of visual disabilities is called the people with complete vision loss, which we normally call blind. And this is a much smaller number. That is somewhere around 4 crores in this, maybe less than 5 crores as of now also. So this is actually the thing that most of the people who actually who normally in a theoretical terms is called visual disabled are partial vision loss. Normally they get that vision due to some illness, and that is also considered to be visual disabilities. So I will be covering all my solutions, be covering both type of visual disabilities, complete vision loss, as well as the partial vision loss. Problem with the as though the partial vision loss people are much higher number, complete vision loss is less, but the problem for what they face in learning maths and science remains the same. Even the partial vision loss, which normally the people have normally heavily blurred vision, have similar problems. They are deprived of learning maths and science, and the problem mainly is that the proper tools and kits which are required for that are not available. So even if they want, neither the students, neither the teacher are able to really provide them proper educations. Obviously, the students are also not able to do it. So normally the educators normally discourage them not to take maths and science. Before I proceed, I know that a lot of people actually try to understand why actually I went into this, my motivation into this. And although I have already described it, presented it in a blog which is available in my website, and but still actually I will just give a one-page quick look and before I proceed. My motivation actually is you can say derived from these three statements from three different people in sequence. So initially, actually, that what I got is that when I was actually part of Acrobat, and I got this the feedback from a blind maths faculty, and when I ask him that that when he gives me a document which has a maths equation, I'm unable to read it, and so I called him. I just called him and I said, okay, that frankly I feel bad that okay I'm not able to help you, and that was his statement. He said, Mr. Garg, don't feel bad. I'm used to this. Maths and blindness don't gel anyway. This actually hurt me. This is something that I say, okay, this is not done. So I went into more and more. I was actually almost part of the main part of the CSR team of Adobe. So I tried to really get that, okay, that what the blind school was available, but it was small blind school. And I talked to them and they say, okay, we don't teach maths. And they referred to me, okay, that some bigger schools might be able to do that. So I actually went to one of the biggest school in Delhi, blind school, which is actually, I named that, okay, that I can name that, the Blind Relief Association. And I went there, talked to their educator of maths, and that is the statement I got. He said, sir, we don't teach them advanced maths, not because we don't want to, but because we just can't. We don't have the kids, the tools, teaching aids. Then he referred to me to Dr. Kaul, who are actually the head of AICB, that's Confederation of Blind, and he's a Padam Shri. And he told me, okay, that he has got Padam Shri because of his work uh, regarding education, maths education to the blind. So I went there, talked to him, and he showed me all the type of kits which are available. And he said, okay, what actually the problems are. He showed me all the kits and everything which is available. And then he said this, the third state, this is the state. The Gargji, if you really want to help do something for us, don't give us money. Can you just spare tiny bit of your time, your skill or your knowledge? I just want to just make these students learn maths at class 10 level. Will you do that? That was actually the motivation from where actually that I started. I started working on that, try to find out what the things are, trying to get where actually I am. Then what are the lacunas, what are the limitations? So coming back to that now background, first let me just tell you that in context of education, the person with visual disabilities can be categorized mainly in three categories. One is a low vision, which is a very blurred vision called visually impaired. They are the people actually that who are able to identify and differentiate color, are able to see the world, although very blurred, and but somehow actually they get a word feeling that okay, they can know that okay, that what is what. If they can really see something, they try to see very closely, or they are able to really see things. Second is people with complete vision loss, but not since birth. They are the people actually who had the vision earlier, got degenerating vision loss due to some illness, and for them actually the things are that they, because they had a vision early, they had a lot of feel. They have a, they are able to relate to color, things, the world around them. If I can say okay, that this is a yellow banana, they can really feel that what is banana and what is yellow banana, what is yellow. That feeling is always there. Even if they touch it and they do that, they will immediately relate to that banana. And they will say, okay, if I say, okay, this color is yellow, those they are able to relate. Okay, that color, the same color as banana. So although they don't have vision now, just because they had a vision earlier, they are able to relate. The third type of is the most difficult one. They are the visually, you can say the totally blind people that are complete vision loss since birth. So they have completely no, you can say experience or feeling about the real world. They have no clue what actually is going on. Color for them is absolutely like a abstract property, because for them it doesn't make any sense. They are not able to relate anything. Even in the case like they see feel things, they will completely mess up with the things which are looking similar in feeling, and they will not able to relate that. While the first and two will be able to relate, third will have a lot of problems. uh, I have seen that okay, that the people in the category 3 usually they are difficulty in actually doing maths and science in a big way. So typically I have not seen the people like this, many of them actually trying to try maths. Generally they don't, and first and second are more conducive. But fortunately, because that is, you can say, majority, almost 90% of the people are of that category, and we are able to really do good job. Another background. So the thing is that actually that for the blind people, because just because they have no vision, what they got is that the other faculty gets developed and they become very strong. The two faculty which actually most strong are, one is touch, in which actually they can completely, they can identify very fine textures and tiny embossments also comfortably. And incidentally, as I said, okay, that for them 2D has no meaning. There's no content unless it has some embossment or something a third dimension. For them, it is absolutely a flat paper is a flat paper. So the thing is that, okay, that yes, you have a third dimension, and this is the one which has been exploited or by almost all educators initially till now, has been actually most of your kits and tools have been focusing on this touch part. They have been actually exploiting this, their developed faculty in touch. The second developed faculty is hearing. So they're able to differentiate various sounds, even very, very feeble ones sounds, they're able to relate that. This is the one which normally is the new concepts of education, mostly the, you can say, through technologies, digitizations, they are actually exploiting this part of their faculty. So all these read alouds softwares like JAWS and BDAs and these type of things are actually utilizing this faculty. Now coming to the limitations, what actually the problems are. The problem is actually historic. This thing all started, and you can say that, okay, that 1824, this is 200 years back, when Louis Braille, who was a blind person, actually designed the Braille, which is almost like a Morse code, mainly a means of communication based on the embossed dots. And his focus was mainly for reading and writing text, literature. A lot of shorthand you will find that, so that actually that you don't have to write everything. So there's a lot of shorthand coming into Braille. So that actually that they can write and read text and literature very well. The focus was never on maths and science. And because of that, the tools which are Slate and all other aids were also made in keeping that in mind, the literature, not maths. So if you look at the maths part, that okay, that what actually is their problem. So main limitations I can put into three categories. I want one is the Braille itself is limited. Then the Braille slate has a problem. I will come back one by one. And the geometrical construction. They can't do that. So I will just quickly go through the Braille, but unless actually that I give you that idea of Braille, you will not be able to understand or appreciate what actually I have done on the Braille part. So the Braille is typically a 6-dot pattern. It's called, they call cell. And this the pattern is now what actually I have written that, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is the way that their pattern are. That Braille is a very, I must say, is very beautifully designed language. That's why actually I got traction and there's so much acceptance. Keeping the blind people in mind so that they have for them, this is the easiest way to learn and to use and all those things. The things started, you can see that, okay, this is that basically that you can see the table, which is normally Braille table. 64 characters, but it's not 8 by 2, 8 by 8. Typically, but the binary table, you normally have 8 by 8. It is not 8 by 8. You will see that, okay, it is very differently organized. How it is organized is that the Braille normally try to understand that first thing, when there is a cell, you write Braille, you have to read it. So you have to read it in such a way that there's no ambiguity. The problem is that how will you differentiate a cell like L11 versus L51 versus L71? Unless you know very clearly where your first row and first column is, you will not be able to differentiate with that. So that becomes very important, that okay, that we know our somehow the top left corner. So for that, what Braille did, he took out all this, you can say filtered out all those cells in which the first row and first column, this is occupied. So he found that 44 of such cells are there in which this first row and first column is occupied. Now, out of that, then to really put them properly in table so that it is easier to learn, he tried to find out that, okay, what are those out of those cells are in which is actually confined only in the top 4 portion. 1, 2, 4, 5. This is the one, top one. And he found that there are 10. So he made this as a base, you can say baseline, which is the core line. Numbers are also mapped over it, 1 to 10. And then after that, the whole table is actually designed around it. If you look at the second row is nothing but the first row with this dot 3 on. Third one is again the first row with this 3 and 6 on. Fourth one is again the first row with the 6 on. So for the person, it is very easy to learn. He sees, say, L, he sees this one, this line, and he sees, okay, this is 2 plus 10. So 12 is L. He knows that, okay, that this one is 2 plus 20 is 22, which is V. So, and other way around, like he can say V is 22. So he can easily write that. So that is the way the whole thing comes. The fifth one is also actually, you will see that has a special one. This is normally called shift down. First row, shift down by 1. You will see that same thing. It's called shift down row. And it is a special meaning. But otherwise, actually, what they normally do is that when they shift down, there is have a problem that, okay, the top left corner problem. So they normally have mapped only those characters which normally are not present in the start of the line. You will not find a line starting with comma, semicolon, colon, full stop, exclamation, question. You will not find. So that is what actually I try to put it on the L5. Then you say L7. L7 is mainly all the things which are actually on the second row, second column, all those things. L6 is the one in which the first 4 are those in which you can say 4 and 3 are present. So, and then these are the 4 one, which is the present. One is space and then the other 2. So what the normal user, and then what he did is because first 4 lines are the one in which the top left corner is well defined. Most of all the score, you can say communication information is available in these 4 lines. So that is what actually goes on. The problem is that, okay, that he all, because of this, he also tried to put a lot of you can say shorthand characters. Like you say P has shorthand with people, Q has a for quiet, R is for other. So this goes very well for shorthand writing text. But then there's a problem with algebra. If you want to write P plus Q is equal to R, you have a problem. Because the moment you write P, he will read it as people. Q will be read as quiet, R will be read as rather. So what is that? So they have a spatial character which normally precedes a line, which tells that, okay, in this line, please don't interpret any shorthand. This is all algebra. So these type of things normally go on coming up. A lot of problems coming up, and that's what actually the things are. So that's what actually I presented that in this. Now, what happened is that this is actually classic Braille, which was actually taken up by this UEB, that is Unified English Braille, which is actually European standard, and because Braille was a Frenchman. The main effort towards getting into maths was done by Nemeth. Nemeth was American person, and he modified Braille in 1946 that will suit maths to a large extent. So what he did was that, okay, that he made mainly two changes. One thing, he just removed all this, we can say, shorthand concept. So everything is removed. Second thing, what he did is that he took L5, which is a shift down row, he mapped with numbers. Originally, this was mapped, what number was mapped on L1 with a numlock key. The numlock key was there, and you press numlock, and the whole ABCD normally becomes 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing as the caps lock, and that whole become caps thing. But here, actually, what he did is that he put everything onto this L5. Obviously, there is a problem because that's a problem of your top left corner. So what you normally do is that still in the start of the line, you have to put this numlock character, which is basically is there, which normally defines the person, okay, that this is the first row and column. So that, and then after that, he knows that, okay, it is a shift down number completely. He also put all this math number like slash, plus, square root, minus, all the signs actually also he put it onto that. So it was much better for maths, although not completely, but then actually he removed all those shorthand. So that became either or situation. They say, okay, if you want to write literature, then UEB is better. If you're trying to do maths, and Namath is better. Namath wanted, okay, that should become standard. They refused. So there is a lot of politics going on. What was going on? Then finally, we have two standards. America uses Namath, Europe uses UEB, and then the rest of the world decides whatever they want to do. Incidentally, India uses Namath. So the next come, this actually came was BCN. The thing was that when the Braille came into picture, there was a representation went to Unicode that, okay, there should be some range should be provided for Braille in Unicode. Now the Unicode characters normally for this is 95 characters, which are not fitting into 64. So Braille, the Unicode consortium not put they didn't put 64 character, but they actually provided 256 characters, 8 dot. So this whole range was provided 2800 to 28FF, which is a 256 character range, which was provided for to represent Braille. The problem was that they just put it from A to Z, they put it, and the rest was all randomly placed. And that is a problem which happened. So they had issues, and it was supposed to be used in digitization on computers and all those things, but never got traction properly. But this is the one thing was very clearly, because it was a very half-baked concept. 256, 8 dot 256 symbols were allocated, but never utilized. I found that this is an opportunity. I cached. So what I did is that I defined this Braille 8, which is the Braille 8, the Unicode system, in which actually I try to utilize the complete 256 cell for communication, for Braille. So this thing was presented in IEEE conference and is already in public domain. How I did it? I divided the whole palette of 256 into the whole, you can say the 256 complete set, Unicode set, into 4 palettes. 4 palettes of 64 each. Now, and what I did is, how I did is that the way that Braille is organized, first one has 7, 8 off, second one is 7 on, third one is 7, 8 on, and fourth one is 8 on. So you can see that, okay, that first one actually when 7, 8 is off, it becomes almost like a 6 dot Braille. So that's way actually that I did it. So out of this 256, I was able to present or represent in a single cell almost everything, like 167 most used symbols, which I actually went through all those things, which contains 626 small, 26 capital, 10 digits, punctuations, all this punctuation which is available. I also take Greek symbols like alpha, beta, gamma, delta, actually that are placed. So all the math symbols, trigonometrical symbols, sine, cos, tan, I have just put single cell for each. There's set theory symbols. We have geometrical symbol, actually you normally say parallel, A parallel, AB parallel, CD, and something, and the perpendicular angle. All those things I have put a symbol, which is not earlier is not problem. And then this formatting symbol also. So I was able to put 167, which is most used, able to cover almost everything. Remaining 89, I use that to mainly to provide the compatibility. Obviously, there are there is a scope for development of this two cell patterns. So they have indicators and prefixes available. And, but then I just try to put the contraction, which is normally called shorthand characters also. And so try to get as much compatibility as possible. So quickly, I'll say this is that first one, which normally is almost like this is a map to UAB, because this is a standard 6-dot table. The second one normally has this capital. Second, it has a capital one. This is the palette B. It is a capital set, the similar one actually that which BCN used. And then I put this on L5. I put this numbers, which is a similar to what that Nemath did that. Third one actually has mainly all these special symbols like alpha, beta, gamma, delta. I try to put it in such a way that, okay, it becomes more like a phonetic, like beta is derived from B, lambda is derived from L, and then like you can say that, okay, pi is derived from P, and that's the way actually the things went. So that will be easier because that is the way actually the Braille is organized, slightly phonetic and slightly tactile. I will come back, okay, what tactile is. So the D was basically fully on literature side, palette D. So they have shorthand. So there was no confusion actually. But if you have a shorthand, just put a 8, this is the 8 one on, and that whole thing becomes a shorthand. So you don't have to really, there's any confusion that when is a shorthand, which is whether this character is a shorthand or a normal character. So that confusion is gone. What I was able to achieve? Yes, I was able to achieve all this compactness. Example, sin square theta plus cos square theta is equal to 1. Normal takes 17 characters. UEB was taking 31 cells, and Braille was taking 17 cells. Take another one. This complex example is a square. If a square, this is a whole equation which is normally there. Complex equation. Normal takes 42 characters. UEB takes 59 cells. I was able to take again in 42 cells. This is the way actually this tactile, you can see, based assignments are. You can see that, okay, that this curly brackets, you'll see that, okay, that all this mirror images of brackets. So this is this curly bracket, square bracket, and then there is this type of corner brackets. And you will see that, okay, that all this type of things are coming up slightly in a tactile way, actually, that the way actually it looks like image. You will see that superscript is also this way, subscript like this way, and that's how that's a flat bar like this. And these type of things normally, that backquote, slash, all those things are coming up. Phonetic is like similar like that. You have a D, capital D is derived from D with this dot, delta is derived from D with double dot, del is again derived from D, derivative is again derived from D. Same thing as again S, capital S, sigma, and even a dollar sign actually you can derive from S. Sign also is derived from S. So is it easy basically to people to remember because of big phonetic sound? And second thing, obviously, tactile things. So that's what actually I already covered. So I've tried to really make it as compatible as possible. I try to make it internationalized and localized. Basically, that's the one concept I added. It was currency major and currency minor. Normally, we have a different currency every country has. So you have to really put symbols for dollar and euro and yen and now rupee also. And so this becomes very complicated. Okay, that you go to a new country and the person says, okay, where is the symbol for my currency? And that's what actually I put that. Okay, currency major and currency minor, everything like when you say Major and minor is something like that. Okay, that you have the dollar and you have pound and pence, and these type of things normally have like rupee and pesa. So you have this currency major and currency minor. Same thing is coming from this decimal and 0,000 separate. Again, there is a confusion. Like in English, normally we say decimal is dot and 1,000 separator is comma. You go to French, French is reverse. Like you have decimal is comma and 1,000 separator is dot. So these type of things. So I just put this generic symbol for decimal and 1,000 operator and forgetting about what actually what. So this becomes no longer remains a local specific. And then obviously you can go there and you can set the language and set the currency and something like that, so that there is no confusion. I also converted this to Bharati Braille. Bharati Braille, 6-dot Bharati Braille is a well-established Braille, which is normally used in India for this 10 languages. So I converted that into Bharati Braille 8 also. I stop here because that was the part which was missing, could not be recorded. And after that, the new recording will start. Thank you. Computer, yes, I can.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've started recording.
Yeah.
Let me just share.
So, and we'll give another 1 or 2 minutes for others to join, because right now we are 5. We were 10 when we broke up.
Yeah. So sort of tell me when to start.
Yeah. Just that I did want to comment that it was very interesting to see how the Braille has been developed. It was very interesting to see that they've actually done it on the in the same manner as you would do it on a computer.
Yeah. Are you able to?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, that let me just
7. Now we are 7.
Yeah, so I'm just full screen mode.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we can start. Yeah, we are 7.
Yeah.
We will join.
So any questions on Braille 8 before I move? Okay. So the second was my attack was on Braille slate. So the Braille slate has its own problem. So we look at this diagram. The Braille slate normally is there is a frame on the back, and then there is a guide, and then you normally have the stylus, which is a pointed stylus, and the frame has the grooves. So when you made a cell and when a dot, you just press the rounded pin onto the paper, makes a depression. It's not, remember that it is not a protrusion, it is depression. And all these depressions are made. And once you want to read it, you can't read those as it is. So you have to take out the paper, flip the paper, and then read the impressions. So means that it is very clear that okay, that you have to write in a mirror image form from right to left to really do that. So this was the one pain which is for the Braille users. They have to read from left to right, right to left in the mirror image. This is normally called indirect Braille. So one problem was in any case for learning. The next one was more complicated for maths. Now you understand in maths, a simple long addition, if you want to do, you write that all this numbers, and when you say, okay, I want to sum it, you have to first read it. So for reading itself, you have to take out the paper out, flip the paper, read it, then what? If you want to write 5 as an answer and 2 as a carry, you don't know how to do, because you have to, if you put the paper back, flip it, they have no clue, because all are depressions, so they are not able to know where to write 5, where to write that 2. And so this is what actually I normally say back referring, where actually you want to read what is written And then is back editing, where actually you have to write the carry over and all those things. So the main thing was that this Braille slate itself was not able to do basic mathematics. Forget about geometry, forget about algebra and all those things. Nothing you can do with on the slate. So this was basically a big problem. And what they normally do is that when I talk to them, they say they use Taylor frame. Taylor frame is like abacus type of things in which you have different pegs. The peg is square pegs, and there's a rectangular grid. And this is the way that the peg has on the top this type of a line, on the bottom we have this type of line. So what they have to do is that they have defined that, okay, the way they place the pegs into that. If you want to write 9, then they will flip the peg and put it that way shifted. That's the shifted one, and they will place it there, and it will be treated as 9. And that is why actually how they normally write a long sum is they write the whole thing on a braille paper. Then after that, they do the same on a Taylor frame, do all the calculation on Taylor frame, find the answer, and then write the answer there. That's all they can do. They can not do any calculation on braille paper, on braille. And the problem which happens is that normally when I talk to the educators, they say, sir, we don't even know that if the person normally made a mistake, where he has made the mistake, because answer is wrong. That Taylor frame has been removed, everything has been removed. We have no clue what actually he has done, where he has made the mistake. And forget about algebra. This is basically arithmetic, basic arithmetic. You can do plus, addition, subtraction, division, and multiplication. Nothing beyond that. Algebra, nothing you can do. So when you try to do this, you can understand that, okay, that this is the big problem. You have seen the big problem on Braille side. If you want to write algebra, this is complication, and the Braille side is a bigger problem. So that is where actually I developed this Braille line view slate. So this is the slate which is available, which has actually normally have 4 units, rather than normally 3 units. It is a slate base, which is a direct slate. We have a frame, but then we have a line guide unit, one other one, and the dot stylus. So we have a direct slate. Direct slate means that, okay, that it is a reverse type of thing. Normally the base has the depressions, the concave depressions, and your stylus is a convex stylus. Here it is reversed. Here the stylus has concavity and on the tip, and the base normally has the protrusions, that is a convex type of thing, so that you can place it there. This concept is direct Braille slate has been available for some time. The problem with direct Braille slates was that it normally takes more work. So the main thing that you have to just you can align that stylus absolutely vertical. If it has some slightly tilted, then it is not able to make the dots properly, and you have to press hard. And normally the student used to say that, okay, that our finger starts spinning after some time. So literally these type of things never caught up, and normally it is only used by, I must say that, okay, that by the non-blind users. Like actually, if I want to write something and some labeling, I use that I can write few cells basically on it. Normally it's not used properly, and the students say, okay, they're not able to get the full speed with direct slate. But the biggest problem was that even after all this pain, the main problem was not solved. Back referring and back editing was still not there in the normal and direct slate. So they say, okay, it doesn't make any sense. Why we should really move? So in this, actually, what I did is that okay, you will, if I normally look at this quickly, I think, let me just show you, which will help you understand that, okay, what I'm talking about. This is the way the slate is. So normally we have a base, we put a paper there, then we have a frame on which that's all this line units are available. You can pick up the line unit one by one. So you can write it, and then after that, we want to read it, you can refer it, you can just put flip that line unit above. There is a line number written everywhere, and there, so he knows which line he's referring to. there's a column marking here also for on each of the dots. So knows that where the column is. So it knows the exact position where actually you want to do that. So you can, I want to read it, just flip up the lines and then try to read it. And that is the way actually he can write, carry, borrow, and the answers he can read it here by opening, flipping open everything. So that is the way it is. So let me just go back to now where. So we have this. So we have this 4 unit. There is the straight base, which has all this. You can say the complete matrix of dots, which is actually convex dots. And then we have this frame, which is actually this available. That this whole frame is there, on which is hinged here, and then there's another hinge which is in the line units are hinged. So these are the line units, which are each line unit normally have the complete set of you can say complete grid, and do that. And then we have the stylus. I have put the stylus on this is the you can say concave tip. I have put the concavity here also because it normally helps them to lessen the pressure on the desk finger when they normally write it this way. So there is a more support there, so this normally doesn't pain. So that how things were there. Then I have put this small you can say ferrometal, so that actually is able to grip it onto the things. Normally I put it here so that they can carry it. So that there's a small magnet here and that normally fit in, so this get held. So this is the way actually it does it. So there is a concept of back referring, back editing, and all those things are there. Full page thing is there. People have normally used it. It's normally used properly by blind students. They find it useful, and they said, okay, that's great that things are there, but then there are issues which is unrelated issues. They said, okay, that we will accept it only if the Braille committee normally approves the slate. And so we get into the chicken egg story. I will come back to that. And so currently this is the state. We have already have prototype ready, and this prototype actually was developed in ITCon. So now coming to geometrical construction, the third one, which is normally very my most popular invention, I must say. So problem is that the geometry is one of the branch which normally has something which absolutely beyond blind people. Let's say, okay, that anything geometry, they have that mental feeling that, okay, we can't do geometry. And geometry is a subject which is a base for trigonometry, coordinate geometry, calculus, mensuration, which is solid geometry, statics, dynamics. And so once they say, okay, we can't do geometry, a lot of things go off. And what geometry set they have got currently is again this concept of indirect tactile drawing. They have this wheel and as a marker. So what they do is that they have that you can say the ruler, which if you want to draw a line, they will just put a ruler and that run the wheel across the ruler. So it will make a depressions. Again, the same problem. To read that, they have to take out the paper, flip the paper, and only then they are able to read. The problem with this is that if they want to do this, they cannot do any, you can say, a realistic geometrical construction. If you want to even draw a proper thing that, okay, that I want to draw a 10 centimeter line and then draw an angle of 40, for them actually to put the two markers there, they put two markers. The markers will go down basically on the other side. They can't see it because there is a depression. They have to flip the page, use it to join the line, then this line depression goes on the other side. And then the angle, then again angle, they don't know where to really look at. One of side depression on the one side, other things on the other side. So they say, okay, that this thing is only used for, you can say, drawing some, you can say some structure or something. Say, okay, I can draw a line, I can draw a circle, but that's it. I can't do geometry. That is clear. So drawing a figure doesn't mean geometry. So that was geometry is for them, it is impossible. So this was the only geometry which is available for them. So I said, okay, it doesn't make any sense. That is where GeomeKit come into picture. So GeomeKit actually uses a direct tactile drawing concept in which actually I can draw directly embossed geometrical pattern. Second thing is that I worked on the basic principle of geometrical drawing, which says that, okay, that if I have a tool to draw a point, a line, and a line segment joining 2 points, a circle on an arc, which a point as a center and a radius, angle, I can put an angle over a line on a from a normal point. If I can draw an angle, that's all I require. If I can do this, I can do any geometry, because that's what actually the geometry sets normally have. And I use that, and I actually use that to really do all the constructions of NCRT from 6 to 10 syllabus. Actually, it was required. I actually normally did all the things pile up into a you can say register, and normally I'd show it to them, otherwise they will not agree. You can see that real drawing from that. This is one of the drawing which is normally, you can say this is a circumcenter. I have drawn a triangle, and then after that a perpendicular bisector on two lines, and that is the point is normally called circumcenter. Typical same thing actually I had done it with geometry. Everything is done completely, and so that I can show it, okay, that I can do this also complex one. I can do everything. This is the main kit which is available in the market. So this is slate, and then you have, so this is basically work on magnet and this thing. This slate normally have the top is the metal sheet top, and then most of them has magnet. So this is the ruler, this is the point markers, line markers, and all those things. Coming up, this is the circle. Circle, basically the concept was that when I try to do that, the problem was that the blind students, for them using a compass was impossible, because if they put the compass and they start drawing and they miss the dot, the pin where they actually put that, they will not get it again. So the so I actually switched over to stencil concept. So all the circles are basically stencils, and the stencils basically you can say from 3 centimeter to 12 centimeter. This is the one, and in the increment of 5 centimeter, 5 mm. And that's what actually the tactile drawing standards are. They say, okay, all this rulers also have the marking, which is a granularity of 5 mm, rather than actually normally our rulers normally have 1 mm. Same thing is for you can say protectors, where normally we have the marking of 1 degree, they have the marking of 5 degrees. So that is the way actually I try to do that. Again, before I go that, I will try to give you a demo first. I think demo, you will be seeing the demo, you will be able to appreciate more actually about it. So this is a small demo which I have recorded. This is the construction of a SSA triangle, which is a 10 centimeter line here, 40-degree angle I have placed there. And then you have a 7 centimeter, you can say, line there. And for SSA triangle, you normally get two triangles. So one is this and one is that. So I'll just run the demo. I hope that the demo. I hope the demo runs on. I don't know whether demo runs on PDF or not. I have to really switch over to. I will just switch over to quickly to PD my PPT. I think that will be better than. Are you able to see my PPT screen?
Yes, we can see the screen. Yeah.
So you see that, okay, that this is basically like I have put the paper there, the clamp, and then after that, I'm drawing a line of 10 centimeter, which is the notches are there basically to ensure that you can keep a horizontal line completely. So this is the ruler which is placed there. I'm now placing 1 point marker, and then at I'm counting 10 centimeter, and then I will be putting the next marker. But once now I have put the 2 points there, now I'm just trying to small punching there. This will be punched there. It will make a hole, which is protruding hole. After that, I am just putting this line marker in which actually I'm just putting over the line, and it has a that top depression in which actually through stylus you can draw that. So now you are able to draw this line. Now I'll be going to draw the angle now. So this is the protector. I am putting this marker for that zero baseline, and then after that, I am going to put the 40-degree angle. So this is the 40-degree angle, 110. This is the 40-degree angle. So this is the put the 40-degree angle line. And after that, you can just stylus, and that whole line has been made. Now I'm going to put an arc. So this is 7 centimeter arc. So there is a you can say that it is a proper base there, and then I am putting 7 centimeter stencil. There is a braille marking there everywhere, so the person can understand which one that able to take it. Now they are drawing an arc, a 7 centimeter arc. The next one is basically the most tricky part for us, basically, not for the blind people. You have to look at the intersection point where on the embossed line where the intersection point is, and the bottom actually they have to really move the line point marker and place it. The dot is there, so they normally have that they can feel the dot as well the two markers, two intersection the intersection point, and then they can just punch it. And so it is difficult. It is easy for the blind people. They have very strong touch. So this is the first intersection point which I have made. Now I'll go for the second intersection point. I will show you that, okay, how normally I move. I'll show you how I will move. Normally I move the bit. Like this is the way actually I grip it and I move. For me, it takes time. They don't take time. They are pretty quick on that. So this is the whole thing has been made. Now I think I will go on this only.
How did the first two markers stay in place, not move when you were moving the
No,
paper about?
now I will tell you. This is the basically the marker, this point marker something. As I told that, okay, everything is based on magnet. So the basic slate has the metal sheet over it,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
these markers normally have a sticky fin. There's a magnetic sheet below it which has been placed, and also this thing also houses a magnet, strong magnet.
okay. Oh, okay.
So that normally grips it, and it doesn't shift unless you actually use this your fingers to actually grip it and move it. That is why it is all the hatches are there, so that actually you can pick up and move. Otherwise, they will not move. It just sticks there. The strong point, strong this markers are. So this is the one which you have seen that, okay, that you have seen this clamp, this punch pins, and you have seen this notches, and then we have this protrusion and all those things. The ruler normally have two sides, very typically. Both sides actually have the marking, but this is for reading side, this is for writing side. So when you create that, this you will see a step there in which actually this thing normally goes in, so that actually it just matches perfectly into this, so that there's no gap in between. And that's the way the lining is. Once you want to read it, then you read it on this side, because if you want to read the line and say length, then you use this side to read. So this is basically the raised pattern. Now this is the way that the whole crux is. That's all these things, line point, this markers have this type of geometry over it. So this is the raised pattern on which this stylus has this two, you can say, the small heads, and there's a gap in between which actually smoothly moves around over it. Has on the top this type of groove, so that it's better grip, and once it moves it, that's the way it makes it a impression. Same tactile set square also has the same thing, normally rarely used. You have two type of line marker. One has center grip, which is normally used for when you want to draw a line joining 2 points, and one has one thing on the one side, which is normally used when you want to draw an angle, because one side of that in any case is over protector, and the second side normally goes. So this is the protector one. So we have this all this markers on tactile markers here. This is the 0 line point. So when you put that, you just mark 0, and then after that you count, and then you put the next line, whatever actually is line marker, and then create that. This is basically like circle markers and circle frame. You have seen that, okay, that I use the frame and then you can put the markers there. And same thing is true for this is the arc. Arcs are normally the larger ones, because when you say circle, normally it is you are bound by the width of the page. So there's no point in actually writing a big circle which goes beyond the page. So that's what actually I have seen, that it's a two-way. Basically, the things are, it is easy to house in a box, and so I just created for the larger, you can say, the values of radius, I use the arc. Otherwise, for that, the circle. So this is what actually we were trying to do. Just yeah. So this is the what actually that we have. This has been used multiple times. This got immediate traction. People loved it, and immediately that took it. There was a lot of demand, so went into production. That is where actually that for this actually I asked for funds also. So the good part was, okay, that this Raised Like Foundation, which is a basically non-profit, not for profit, this Section 8 company in IT Delhi, they came in, and Saksham Trust came in. This is an NGO. And they said, okay, they will help me reach the target audience. RLF actually does the production, and Saksham Trust normally does all this, you can say, the dissemination, delivery, and also the marketing, and also the training and everything they do. This got actually that design award also. I got this is a patented also. This Junker is patented. So the success story, which is actually I'm saying that, okay, that I don't normally go for some people saying that, okay, it was good. I have seen that, I've asked people, and some of them actually that I have normally got it from the users, the students, which actually touches heart, actually comes from the heart. So normally just understand. So I've included two of them. I have this many stories. So One was that basically that, okay, that's a blind user. It's a class 11, 7 student of inclusive education. You know what is inclusive education? Inclusive education is where that the blind students normally attend classes along with the sighted ones. Sighted, the classes normally, that schools normally have one or two students which are disabled, and they study. So for the blind people, what happens that, okay, they attend the class, the complete class with the normal school, and after the school they come back to the blind school. They have the blind school, and then they normally review what they have learned, and whatever the gaps are, they normally are, the educators, normally the special educators of the blind, they normally cover. So he said, okay, that one thing, he said, okay, that, sir, geometry was, I knew that geometry is beyond me. So if geometry class was absolutely, for me, it is just a dumb class. So when there was geometry going on, I was teaching, I just sit there and make no sense what they are talking about. But after doing, when I start using GeoMKit, he said, okay, that today when the teacher said that, okay, that please draw a line and arc on one corner and angle on the other and connect the intersection. For the first time, he said, okay, I could understand what he was saying. And he literally said, okay, I stood up and shouted, sir, I can do it. And the teacher was surprised. He said, how can you? And he says, okay, I will get it done tomorrow. And he said, okay, that he came back to the blind school, used the GeoMKit, actually made that construction, and went and showed it to the teacher. And he was showing me that construction to me, and he said, okay, sir, I made this construction, and that's how actually I did it. This normally you feel when something happens of this kind, you really feel that, okay, you have made some difference. The second one actually is also that another blind first time user say, okay, before today, he said, I have firm belief that I can't do diagram. Straightforward, forward about geometry. He said, but GeoMKit has made it impossible possible for me. And he says, okay, the girl said that, okay, that more than geometry, I learned in life never to say this is impossible for me, because I know that, okay, everything is possible to me. There's nothing impossible. I will tell you that, okay, one more story which is coming up on that quickly. There, I went to this school, and a blind school where actually I normally was conducting this for geometry. And there was a boy who came and said, sir, एक सी मैंने एक सर्कल बनाया है. So he showed me a circle, which is a pretty good circle. It's okay. I said, fine, good. And I looked at the boy. I said, what? This boy is तो बहुत छोटा है. So I asked the educators, okay, that which class he is. He said, class 4. I said, class 4? The class 4 doesn't have geometry. तो he said, सर ऐसा था कि वो दैट बॉय, वो हम लोग ज्योमेट्री सिखा रहे थे, ये बॉय, ये लड़का ही बैठा हुआ था, एंड सडनली से, सर मैं भी यूज करूं क्या? आई सेड, ठीक है, तुम भी यूज करो. मैंने उसको भी कह दिया कि कर दो यूज. एंड दैट्स व्हाट एक्चुअली ही इज ट्राइंग टू डू. And for them actually said it is fun. It is not proper geometry, but it's fun. Then the teacher said to me कि सर एक ज्योमेट्री ने बड़ा डिफरेंस कर दिया है. मतलब 2 हफ्ते पहले there was people, students who were the geometry students, they used to say that I can't do geometry. और आज एक बच्चा है जो कि ज्योमेट्री का स्टूडेंट भी नहीं है, and he says I can do geometry. That makes a difference. That it looks good, like okay, that yes, कुछ किया दुनिया के जिंदगी में. I will come back to the bottleneck now, and the bad part of that. So not everything has went well. The main thing is that yes. So this is some of the bottlenecks which I encounter. One of the biggest bottleneck is the standard body. Braille standards body has been very resistant. उनका मतलब ये है कि वो यूएबी वर्सेस नेमत करते घूम रहे हैं, because they have not even, there's basically a ego problems. Braille was originally a Frenchman, so they feel that it is mainly a European thing. Nemeth is American, so he said okay that, and they said okay that Nemeth should be recognized as the main Braille. and there is a fight. They say, okay, that Nemath is not good for text. They say UEB is not good for maths. And there is a fight going on. They basically refuse to accept which one. And so there are two different standards going on in the market. There's UEV, which is mainly European standard, and Nemath, which is American standard. And rest of the world normally decides whichever they want to use. Incidentally, India uses Nemath. And it is deadlock. Nobody's. And so when you go with a standard and say, okay, this is one of the standards, this is सर छोड़ दो यार मतलब अभी तो हम यही नहीं सोच पाए आप एक नया स्टैंडर्ड लेकर आ गए आप हम यूबी वर्सेस नेमत करते घूम रहे हैं और आप एक नया स्टैंडर्ड लेकर आए so please do. And same thing is happening with braille slate. अब ब्रेल स्लेट के साथ ये कंसेप्ट है कि जैसे कि अब नया ब्रेल सेट आएगा वी आज द ओके दैट ब्रेल सेट इज गुड जैसे कि सर प्रॉब्लम ये हो गई हमारे ब्रेल सेट में कि unless it comes as a standard body and it replaces my old slate, I will not take a new one because मेरे बच्चे जो है दो स्लेट नहीं कर सकते. They learn first that old slate in which actually they have to write reverse inverted way, and now you are saying that okay the new slate which writes in a forward way. सर एक चीज सिखाओ. So it is a chicken egg story. Unless the people use it, Braille standard says, okay, unless the people find it useful, we will not accept it. And then there's other way now that people say, okay, we want to use it unless there's a standard body. And now there is a new problem. Now the problem is that okay, that now Braille has a big threat from the technology side. I will come back on this basically on the slide. Second problem is scale of operation. Especially all these things like geomkit, line view slate, everything needs casting and molding. And all the production start demand is like minimum 10,000 units. Sometimes they ask for at least 100,000 units, 1 lakh units. For better efficiency, cost effectiveness, सर वो नहीं बन पाएगा और ये नहीं हो पाएगा. हम एक बार वो ग्रिड जग लगाते हैं एक बार में एक दिन के अंदर कम से कम 1 लाख पीस तो दो. हमारे पास तो स्केल ऑफ ऑपरेशन है ही नहीं. लिटरली कंसेप्ट ये था कि to be realistic, मैंने जो है जो जोम किट निकाला था basically for 2,000 kits and literally we have to fight to persuade them okay that please accept कर लो because clients के लिए काम कर रहे हैं 2,000 यूनिट के लिए बना लो. And he also agreed finally because it was a COVID time. उसको वैसे ही खाली बैठा हुआ था वो. So he said अच्छी बात है मैं ले लूंगा उस चीज को but in any case became costly. And believe me अभी वो 2,000 यूनिट के अंदर अभी भी 300-400 यूनिट बची हुई after 3-4 years. So that is the level of operation. You cannot get this scale unless this is formally approved by standard body. And it is a big issue now because even if do that, so this is the problem which second operation is coming up. We are trying to do all those things. Third thing which is coming up is financing. A problem क्या हो रही है कि almost so the problem basically is coming is that almost every school normally of this type of kind is actually is run by on charity and grants and they have a very very rigid mandate. हमारा फंड इसी में यूज होगा किसी और में यूज नहीं होगा. दे हैव ऑडिटर्स सिटिंग देयर एंड दे से ओके नहीं इसी में यूज होगा. इफ आई से ओके दैट वी वांट टू रियली कैन यू रियली बाय दिस दे से सर नहीं हो सकता बिकॉज दे हैव बीन क्लियर मैंडेट कि हमें इतनी किट खरीदनी है और बस यही खरीदनी है इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं स्पेंड कर सकते. So but if you want to really give us free. Either give free or you arrange a fund for it, some CSR fund. If you go to government has its own closely budget concept. We went to the government and say, okay, ये ज्योमेट्री लगानी है. जैसे सर ऐसा है 3,000 रुपए का हमारा किट है. बाकी सामान भी इसमें पड़ा हुआ है. Normally for geometry we have only something around 500 to 600 rupees. इसके अंदर फिट कर सकते हो तो हम माल इंक्लूड कर लेंगे अदरवाइज वी कांट. अब 600 रुपए में तो आ ही नहीं सकते वो किट. सो दिस बिकेम अनदर इशू कि कैसे करना है इसको. सो वी आर सेलिंग इट इंडिपेंडेंटली. अभी तक तो वो उसका पार्ट बन नहीं पाया. वी आर ट्राइंग हार्ड बट वी आर नॉट एबल टू डू दैट. थर्ड is a problem of charity is institutionalized. This is slightly bad because now हालत क्या हो गया है कि all this blind and all these agencies they are so used to charity They, even if they know that it is a good thing, they refuse to spend their own money. जैसे कि ठीक है, यदि आपको करना है तो आप या तो चैरिटी कहीं और से अरेंज कर दो, हमारे ला दो, हम तो पैसा डालेंगे. So these are the things which normally comes up in that for scaling करने में प्रॉब्लम हो रही है. मतलब ठीक है, आप जाकर you can reach them, you can arrange for CSR, you can give it to them, but scale नहीं होता, because there is the not way which you can scale things. And other than that, now there is a bigger issue. Now this is that a bigger issue is coming up, is new advancements through digitization. This actually was Braille is actually serious, under serious threat, and this thing happened during COVID. What happened was that basically because of COVID, the student was forced to study online, and so the whole thing was study through touch was replaced by study through hearing, and touch was also discouraged because of the COVID risk. Because they say, okay, you can't touch any panel or anything because it is shared by, is touched by somebody else. Please don't touch. So literally for 2 years, the students was forced to study through hearing digitally. And so Braille was absolutely out for them. For 2 years, they literally didn't use Braille at all. And then then this accessibility functionality and high quality OCRs, our technology are easily and freely available now. You can say this accessibility functionality, you just take any mobile and you say accessibility आप activate करना चाहिए, हो जाएगा straight away, free, available. OCR, typically you see that in Google, just you can say Google Translate. What do? You go to a China, you just take a standard board, you just look at that mobile, just look at that, say translate. What does it do? It just picks up the image, do an OCR, say character recognition, and does translate, all free. So once these things start coming up, people was finding that why actually I'm using this Braille at all. This technology is available. So the Braille took a back seat. Lot of actually all this new, you can say, accessibility solutions, and then all the assistive technology solutions came around now hearing. People are talking about this, okay, read alouds and all those things coming. Now you have said that, okay, that you have the accessibility features in the word table, that people create word tables and Excel grid, and they do maths. They don't need all those things, and they say, okay, we are using this maths to this. Good solution. That's fine. And same thing is happening with Slate. Slate is again, when they say the speech to text available hai, what should we really do? This is free available. Just go there and just speak into it. It will take it. Why should I really use Slate? And when in any case, I'm not going to read the Braille. Slate has actually are on the way out. So basically, the Braille committee is more concerned how to mitigate this risk, because they are threat of actually getting obsolete. So that is also one of the reasons why Braille 8 and Braille Slate took a backseat. I said, okay, fine. When वो मुझसे भी कहते हैं, लोग कहते हैं कि सर यदि कोविड नहीं आया होता शायद आपका चल गया होता, बट कोविड के बाद तो थिंग्स हैव चेंज्ड अ लॉट. पीपल आर नॉट लुकिंग फॉर ओल्ड स्टैंडर्ड, बचना मुश्किल है, आप नए स्टैंडर्ड की बातें कर रहे हो. So I said, fine. My aim was basically to that these kids should actually be able to read maths and science, or study maths and science till class 10. Not through me, but then let if this thing is coming through computers, let it be. I'm happy that, okay, that yes, okay, my invention was not being utilized, but at least the kids are doing well now. They're on a good path that they can really do. Now I've seen that, okay, that people do maths comfortably, and that using Word and Excel and it using read alouds, they normally type AB, all these things, and do maths comfortably. So coming back to recent activities now, so just update. So as I said, RLF actually has been doing production. Succession Trust is actually dissemination of that. RLF launched GeoMKit formally, and at the big level, they wanted actually that GeoMKit should be actually be accepted as a government standard. And although this costing somewhere I'm currently coming up 3,000, I'm just costing 3,000. The cost itself is pretty high, so not much profit we are making. And I said, okay, unless there is a volume, that is the cost cannot go down, production cost is not going down. So what I did is that, okay, that to reduce this price, so I just decided that Geomkit to split into Geomkit Junior and Geomkit Senior, and main Geomkit is a full box. So that way the price can reduce to half. So all this like circle and everything went to Geomkit Senior, and basic line and angle drawing something came onto Geomkit Junior. Let's see okay, that RLF is working on this pitch. I have actually currently developing Geomkit Stat. There is a statistics kit over Geomkit, and that is you can do telemarking, line chart, bar chart, pie chart. So that design I have submitted to RLF. Let's see okay, that when they do. I'm actually also trying to. I'm actually I have envisaged that slate into a full lap canvas. You can play a lot of game, because a lot of game actually that this is basically a sheet in which the metal sheet is there, and any game which has a magnet thing is onto over it, and they can comfortably play. You have a scope for 3D. So I have actually created some tangram and tic-tac-toe I have already designed over that. And I can design other things also if you want. So I've submitted a proposal. Let's see okay how it comes, because now currently I'm not involving myself into production and marketing directly. So I'm actually using them. So there is another initiative, NCAT. This is the National Center for Assistive Health Technology, is funded by ICMR, and basically like working on technology solution of disabilities. So in which that I am associated with as a for visual disability, this technology solution. So I am design advisor for them. So it's the problem. So they can come to me. Now I'm known for my assistive technology solutions for blinds. Quickly, this is basically that I wanted to say that, and before I end, when I started, I always felt that I am doing some favor to these people by doing this. That is the way actually I felt that. But when I worked with them, I found that this is the other way around. I actually have a lot of things to learn from these people. Frankly, really, my life has improved by what actually I have done. I found that these children are generally a lot happier. They are full of gratitude. You understand the gratitude? They're blind. Still, they are full of gratitude and much more blissful life. And gratitude that they say, okay, at least I have limbs, at least I have hearing. See, there's a deaf blind person. I'm better than at least I am only blind. I don't understand how they normally look at that thing. Did now actually I have put the 10 points there actually that how actually do that. I'm just trying to just compile that. They don't complicate their life and do expectations. They know that they are blind, they can do this much, and they're happy with that. You ask them this, okay, you say, okay, this is the pace which I will work. Don't expect that, okay, we work with your pace. I will not be able to create the whole thing at your pace. Fine, I'm happy. Fine, that is the expectation he has got. Small successes. वो लड़का आता है एक सर्कल बना लेता है तो ही सो हैप्पी जंपिंग अराउंड कि उसी से पता हम लोग ये सोच रहे थे बेटा कि यार इससे क्या हुआ छोटा सा काम है ये क्या है तो बड़ा काम करते तो करते they embrace the limitation. They know they are blind. मतलब आप अजीब सी बात समझोगे बैठ के मोस्ट ऑफ द ब्लाइंड पीपल हैव सेड दैट ओके दैट बड़े सीनियर लेवल कि सर ये पीपल विद विजुअल डिसेबिलिटी क्या बकवास है क्या बोलते रहते हो कॉल अस ब्लाइंड यार हमें पता है वी आर ब्लाइंड ये क्या कहानी करते रहते हो यार तुम लोग बैठे हो पीपल विद विजुअल डिसेबिलिटीज कॉल अस ब्लाइंड वी आर ब्लाइंड and they don't mind it. They say, okay, we are blind. So this is what we can't do. We can do all these things. But they are aware about their strengths. Touch, hearing, they know that. And they actually use it. मैं आपको एग्जांपल दो रियल एग्जांपल दे रहा हूं मैं आई आई वेंट टू दिस स्कूल जो मैं जिसमें जाया करता हूं मैं आई वेंट टू द स्कूल एंड आई वेंट टू द क्लास एंड द बच्चे चिल्ला के मुझसे कहते हैं गुड आफ्टरनून सर अनुपम सर किसने बताया इनको क्लास से मैंने पूछा उसके टीचर से इनको इनको कैसे पता कि मैं आ रहा हूँ आपने बताया क्या? कहते नहीं सर, वो आपका जो है स्टेप पहचान लेते हैं। इनकी इतनी तगड़ी है हियरिंग कि आपके चलने के स्टाइल से पहचान लेते हैं कौन आया, आप आए हो। दैट इज द लेवल ऑफ स्ट्रेंथ दे हैव गॉट, एंड दे आर प्राउड ऑफ इट। जैसे कि सर ठीक है, मतलब वो है तो, एंड दैट इज द वे। हम लोग क्या करते हैं, हम लोग वी जस्ट गो ऑन hammering about our limitation, ये नहीं कर सकते, वो नहीं कर सकते, ये we don't actually think about our strengths, never. And they are the people who are comfortable and childlike curiosity, मतलब गजब है। मतलब whenever I used to go there, the first thing they knew that कि भाई अनुपम सर आए हैं तो कुछ ना कुछ तो लाए होंगे, and then they मैं आऊंगा घेर लेंगे मुझे, and they will say सर आज क्या है, आज क्या लाए हो, and that is the way। छोटी सी चीजें बताऊंगा, मैं भी करूंगा, ये भी करना, वो भी करना। दिस इज बेसिकली लाइक, हम लोग सोचते हैं क्या है, कैसे है, व्हाट इज ऑल, दिस पीपल आर एक्चुअली वेरी वेरी क्यूरियस, आपसे छोटी छोटी चीज के लिए। दे डोंट शाई अवे फ्रॉम सीकिंग हेल्प, बट दे लिव विद डिग्निटी। वो कहीं जा रहे होंगे, करेंगे, तो मैं उससे कह दूंगा बड़ी कि आप ठीक है, कैन आई हेल्प यू समथिंग, स्टेप चढ़ना है समथिंग, जब मैं कहूंगा तो हो सकता है विल से ओके डू इट। बट यदि मैंने उससे ये कह दिया उससे कि ओके लेट मी टेक यू द स्टेप, मना कर, नहीं आई विल डू इट, मैं कर लूंगा। सो दे आर लिव विद डिग्निटी, मतलब जिसका कंसेप्ट ऐसा नहीं है कि बट यू ऑफर, उनको शाय अवे नहीं होते, मतलब सोचिए कि नहीं साहब मैं क्यों हेल्प लूं, नहीं, नेवर पिटी देमसेल्व्स। अब होता भी है कि बिकॉज दे नो देयर लिमिटेशंस एंड दे नो देयर स्ट्रेंथ, तो सेल्फ पिटी का कंसेप्ट नहीं है उनके अंदर, हाय रे मैं क्या। तो सो दे डोंट कीप द बार टू हाई एंड फेल, बहुत क्लियर है उनका, दे नो दैट कितना करना है, दे लव सक्सेस, छोटी छोटी सक्सेस लेते हैं, दे हैप्पी, एंड द लास्ट दे स्माइल, बहुत नॉर्मली स्माइल, एंड बहुत ही सिंपल जेन्युइन स्माइल होता है, नो लाग लपेट। This is the way actually I've taken a photograph. This is from the net, but I have seen this picture a lot whenever I have dealt with them. Frankly speaking, I have enjoyed my time. I love this time. I cherish this time. This is very fulfilling. I never regret that. Okay, I took a such decision that I early retirement did 5 years. I love that. Now coming back to the questions.
So Anupam, I have a question. See, you mentioned about text being able to be written and read out to them, which is very good. But how do they do geometry on a computer?
The geometry is the only one. So
Yeah.
what survived was basically the concept. Whatever they could not do it with this,
Yeah.
this your accessibility pack or read aloud or this, so textual thing went off. That's why I'm saying the main threat went to Braille and Braille Slate. Geometry survived.
Geometry. Okay. Okay, I got that now. Oh, you can stop the presentation so then we can see each other.
Let me just see that. I stop sharing. I can stop share now.
Yeah. You stop share.
Great presentation, Anupam. Really enjoyed it. Okay. Now I didn't realize that, I always, I thought reading was an issue, but I didn't know writing also is an issue, right? I was always curious to how do they do the writing? Reading they do by feel. How do they do the writing?
Writing is basically like, you can say, one second, let me just say that how I can
They speak
get
and
out.